enjoyed that, then welcome to my channel. My name is Stefania if you are new here. So today we are going to do product reviews. So things that I've bought. I try not to do anything too recent, but like, you know, starting around Christmas time for the last few months, and give you my updated thoughts, whether I regret them, whether I still recommend them, just because I do a lot of reviews and I want to make sure that I give you guys like what I actually tell you to buy it at this point now that I've had it for a while. So we got a lot of stuff here. But please don't forget to subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. Hit that like button and let's go ahead and jump into this video. I'm like, did I put on deodorant? Like, I think I did. You know, living at home is a whole new thing. I'm like surprised that I pulled myself together sometimes. I'm just like, okay, you don't look like you got ran over by a truck today, so that's an improvement. Alright, so let's get started. Palette wise, I got this Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette, and it was one where like I didn't really get it when it first released. I kind of like waited on it, and then I was finally like, okay, I think I really want that. And I do really like it. And then as we're going to talk about this, I don't know, I've been on a neutral kick lately. It kind of goes both ways. Like 1 minute I'm like, I want rainbow palettes, and then the next minute I'm like, I just want neutrals. Like I wear them all the time. They're so easy to just get a shade and put it on the lid. So this Artist Couture Supreme Nudes is another one I keep talking about. I definitely went in depth between like how to choose between the two, but I really like both. Like I definitely don't regret these purchases. Yes, they're similar, but not really. They're just a wide range of neutrals. But this one I thought was going to be way too light for me, like some of the shades and everything goes on a little bit deeper than expected. They are a little bit, I will say the shimmers are a little bit chunkier in this. I don't mind that though. I would rather have a shimmer that pops than one that doesn't. So I like this one for the shimmers, and then this one I usually reach for the mattes. Like the mattes in this are just gorgeous. Like I can't ask for anything else, but I tend to want to grab a shimmer from a different palette, such as this one, just because the shimmers in this one, you really only have like, I'm more like, you know, rose golds type tones. I did finally do a look with this color right here, which some people will literally buy a palette for like, you know, the green. I'm not into greens, and then the rest are very gold. I really want him to do like a palette of all of this formula, which is the shade Opulence. It's freaking gorgeous. I love this shade. And again, like I have a lot of reviews on this stuff, but look how reflective that is. But at the same time, like in this one, that's the only shimmer that's like that. The other ones are very more like a satin shimmer. Like they're not the most exciting. Let me just swatch one of these so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So in this one, you have Glistening Snow, and like I said, I still really like it, but I don't know if you guys can tell by the texture, it's just a little bit more of a chunky glitter. So it's completely up to you. But yeah, both of those I really like. So Natasha Denona, her Love collection that came out around, like what was in February? I don't know what day it is anymore. Valentine's Day, I have to say, oh no, this is not, I grabbed the Sunrise palette. Hold down. Okay, that took a minute. I was like, where is it? Which tells you something. And part of this also might be just the time. Like for the last 2 months, you know, we've all been stuck at home. I mean, I didn't go out that much anyway, but using makeup, it's like some people are very on the side of this was my time to play with makeup and get use. And then there's me that was kind of like, I don't want to do it. So that also could be why. But I mean, I've had this since February. So this is the Love palette. I regret it a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I don't hate it by any means or anything like that. It's not a palette I wake up and be like, oh, I really want to use this today. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, you know, when I want to use it, I'll literally dip into it for like this shade, that shade, like kind of like this half of the palette. So for me, it's just not one that I got excited. I love the packaging of this whole collection. And I know I would have, you know, it would have been one of those things where like if I didn't get it, I'd always want it, you know, that ridiculous like, I have to have it kind of thing, just because I love Natasha Denona in general. But I will say, like, this has been one of the ones where I wasn't excited to use it over and over and over again. Like, I kind of just forgot about it. So if you're looking at like her mini pans, I think that this one is just better in terms of like, this is her Metropolis one. It is more expensive, but you get a lot more shades. And this is just more my speed in terms of like what I want to reach for. I'm very all over the place with what I want at the moment. But I definitely, that one hurts a little bit. Thank God it wasn't like the 129 palettes. However, on a positive, I still really love this thing. This is the Love Glow Cheek Palette. I really, really like it. This is one where I was so happy that for once, she didn't put any of like the cream blushes in there. She did put a cream, but it's more of like a base. For me though, just know that like, I don't think that these are, when people review them, like she called it a blush, cheek palette. I use these all as highlights. I do not use any of these as a blush. I don't like shimmer on my cheeks. It brings out texture. It's just not my thing. So it all depends on my skin tone. They all work beautifully as highlights. So this I still really, really like, and I have used it quite a bit. So I don't regret this one. And oh my God, look at this. Look at the, reminds me of the little kaleidoscopes. I hope that's what they were called. But yeah, there's that one. I have one more Natasha Denona, which is the little mini Natasha Denona mini retro palette. And I definitely don't regret these because they're $25, so they're fairly cheap. I will say I only dip into, like, I kind of can just put my hand over it. Like, I don't use those 2 shades, but I use the rest, so I'm okay with that. I love these little things in general, and I hope that she just keeps doing more of them. I've always said I'm not a big fan of like her 5-pan palettes. Those are ones that I skip over just because it's only 5 shades, and I'm like, I'm not paying, $50, even though I really want the new Charlotte Tilbury one. Why do I want that? Like, I think I've just turned into like, I don't want to say old. I'm not calling anyone old, but I feel like I've aged in this few months, like drastically, where I'm just like, I just want neutral stuff right now. Like, I don't know what's going on. Actually, I'm planning on doing a colorful look because I got the Norvina eyeliners, and I'm so excited about those. So, don't worry. I just need to get out. Next, we have some Pat McGrath products. So, these were the 2 that she came out with, the concealer as well as the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye. Out of the 2, definitely recommend this one. I did do a comparison video of this versus the Charlotte Tilbury, and I actually felt like there wasn't a huge difference, but there was a difference, and I felt like this blurs a little bit more. And what I like about this is it's a little bit more like lightweight. So if you're someone who doesn't really want to, pack on powder under your eyes, I highly suggest this because it goes on so smooth. Like, can you guys hear? Like, I love that sound. Not like I'm doing that in general and then putting it with my finger, but still, it's a sound that I love. But it's very thin, very, very, like, fine powder. So that's all it took to just kind of blend that in there. So very, very lightweight, which is what I like about it. However, who the hell, like, what did she think about putting this mirror in here? What is that? What is that? No one can see anything. Like, I'm like, oh, I can see an eyeball, but it's such a useless little compact, like in terms of the packaging. I don't know why. Like, there's room too. There's room for a full-size mirror. I don't understand this. Obviously, it's Pat McGrath and is expensive. That's my only gripe with this. But the actual product, I have been very much enjoying. The concealer as well. I do like the concealer. I am in shade LM8. But the concealer I really do enjoy. Would I say it's like the most amazing thing ever? I don't think I've really found concealers like that, to be completely honest. Like, I was so impressed by the Hourglass one, but I haven't purchased it because I was just like, I'm just trying to save money right now, and that's $34 concealer. And this one I just got excited about. I mean, Pat McGrath, like I just have, my weakness is for Pat, okay? But It's a really good full coverage concealer. It doesn't crease on me. I have no complaints about it. But would I say like, oh my gosh, you have to get this and it's going to change your face? You know? No. But it is one that I would still recommend for sure, and I would repurchase. Alright, let's get into some bronzes. So this is the Alamar Cosmetics Brighten and Bronze Complexion Trio. I really, really like this. So you get 3 shades in here. I do have one little thing about it, but I have used it. It's lasted me really, like, you can't even tell I've been using it. I like the the brightening shade in here for your under eye. Especially because, you know, sometimes a powder that doesn't have a lot of color, like this definitely does like wake up your under eye if you need that. So I use it more like halfway through the day when I'm just like looking a little scary here with my eye bags. So those are the shades in that. My only thing is, one is supposed to be more of like I would want one to be more like a contour shade. They're both bronzer shades to me. Like I can't really pull one off as a contour and then one bronze on top. So that's kind of my only thing about it, where these shades are actually pretty similar and I can't do that with it. So I don't really need both. So I kind of wish they would have put one with just a little bit more, like, you know, a little bit more of a gray tone, just a tiny bit in there, so that I would want to use all 3. Now I just mix the 2 and put them on, you know, because there's not really a big difference in it. But I do really like the formula of this. It is a great price, and I like Alamar Cosmetics. So it's very tiny, very easy to pop in whatever you need to pop in, you know. Almost like when you travel somewhere, I don't know where. All right, and then something else I've been using a lot. I did a e.l.f. Cosmetics review. That concealer is great. The hydrating concealer, highly recommend. It is one where I did get, you know, for people who don't want to wear a full face of like foundation, and sometimes you'll just kind of, I mean, you'll do a full face of concealer is essentially what everyone does, right? But I did get like a contour shade in it. I got an under eye shade where I was like, okay, I can wear this, you know, when I have makeup on, when I don't have makeup on, like cheaper ones like that, where it's still not, it wasn't that cheap. I think it was still around like 10 bucks, but a lot cheaper than like, you know, I was watching someone's video where they were using the Pat McGrath one all over their face, and I was like, who can afford that? Like 5 different shades of Pat McGrath to just wear the foundation. So just in case you're wondering, I still really, really like that concealer, and I'm getting a lot of use out of it. The Halo Glow setting powder from e.l.f. is another one I like. I have it in the deeper shade, so this is like the deepest one it comes in. Of course you don't say what you are, but this is the deepest shade. And I got this to set around the perimeter of my face before I go in with bronzer. And I really like this as well. It's very fine, very smooth. Like, e.l.f. has some good stuff. You know, I just wish they would kind of like chill out, you know. And price-wise, like they're definitely changing, but I really like the setting powder. I don't even know if you can see it because obviously it's not a bronzer. I just use it to set. And again, on no makeup days, it's a good one to just kind of dust over so your face has a little bit of color even when I'm not wearing foundation or anything else. So I like it for that purpose. Again, fairly affordable compared to, you know, everything else. So I really like it. And then let's see, I have 2 more products to talk about. We have the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2. As much as happens with Jaclyn, I think I will always root for her, you know? I think she's just one of those people that like you've been with forever, so you just want to see her pull through everything. Do I think she's made mistakes? Yes. Do I think she's, you know, I think she just needs to grow as a business person. You know, I don't think business translates to YouTuber all that well, and I think she's learning that. But for me, I've pretty much just given her a second try. I've enjoyed the highlighters. The lipstick thing, they were a problem, but would I repurchase them because I did really enjoy the shades? Yeah, I think so. And like I said, when I did that review the second time around with the highlighters, I emailed customer service. I called customer service. Like, I really made sure to test the entire company out again to see if they really had improved, and I got great service from them. So I am okay with giving her second chances. I hated the vaults though. The vaults were just not, nope. I didn't like those at all. But this volume 2, I really, really enjoy this. If I was gonna complain about anything, is maybe having a little bit more of a deeper brown in there, because I still feel like I have to reach for another palette to deepen up my outer V, because I don't love using blacks. It's just not my style. So that's kind of my only thing about this. But formula wise, everything in here, I'm always excited to pull this out. Like I have definitely used this pretty often. Like whenever I'm like, ooh, what do I want to use? I'm like, I'll go to that. Of course, Morphe palettes, like the shimmers are never going to be my favorite. Just, they're good. They're just not like, ooh, you know, but even some of these, they're really not bad. They're just a little drier. But I would recommend this palette to anyone, especially if you're looking to like play with a little bit of color. You have a lot of really good options in here. And yes, it's a big palette. I don't always love big palettes, you know, because you gotta store them somewhere and then I kind of forget to pull them back out. Like when I have it like this, I forget that it's even a palette. So, and I feel like we all complained after her first one about the whole mirror thing, and I would have just appreciated it if she put it in. I would have paid the extra $3 to have a mirror in, but I 100% feel comfortable recommending this. Even if you are not okay with her, that's totally fine. I also understand where you're coming from. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they want to do. It's your money, not mine, you know? And then I have 3 things. I also have a Vesca bronzer. I did do a comparison of the Alamar versus the Vesca. I like this Vesca bronzer. I remember watching Samantha Ravindell and she was a little bit like, oh, it's powdery. But at the same time, I have a very different, like, I don't want to say style, but most of the time things she likes, I don't like, and vice versa, and that's fine because I still love watching her channel. I think that's okay. So I don't have to like everything that she likes, and I'm like, she doesn't have to like everything I like. I'm like, what does she care? You know? But this is the Vesca bronzer in Danny. I always want to say Danny. I don't know. But that is the shade right there. I really like it. I mean, it's not like the most special thing. It's definitely a matte bronzer. It almost has that little bit of reddy tone. I like it. It is a little bit powdery, but definitely usable, blendable, buildable. Like, what's the other B? So, I like it. And it smells good. It smells like coconut. Of places that we may never travel again. So, you know, makes me feel like I'm on a beach. But, yes. And then lastly, the only newer product, like I said, I didn't want to review things that were too new, but I have had a lot of people asking about eyebrow products, and I have to say, I have been really enjoying this Patrick Ta eyebrow wax. I'm like, what is it called? It just says for eyebrows. The shaping wax. So I got the tinted version. I still wish there were a few more shades. I hope he comes out with more. But this one is pretty universal, unless you are maybe redhead or super pale blonde, you might want to stay away from it, but you really don't get that much color off of it. Like I do have to go in and like fill in my brows afterwards or before. So when I originally did the video, like it was really sweet. Like he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, hey, if you're using a pencil, you can do the pencil before. And if you're doing like an actual pen, then it's easier to use after. Like he took the time to kind of be like, this is the best way to use it. And, you know, I just appreciated that. It was nice, you know? But I was kind of worried about it. I was like, am I going to use this all the time? Because am I going to want to sit there? Because you do brush it through and then you press against it. But you have to like, wait a minute. And then you still have to fill in. And I was like, well, that's a process for me. But it is what I have on my brows today. And I really do get that lamination effect, which after having actually done lamination, it's not something I would really go in and do again, especially now that I have this. For me, it was nice doing it. It was a nice little treat that I gave myself. But was it worth the $65? Not really. I think like the part I liked about it the most was that they dyed my eyebrows, you know, after she did that. And then now I've just been using like the beard stuff and doing it at home, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to pay then for that, you know, because they charge like $20 for a brow tint, and I'm like, oh no, I'm totally fine doing it by myself. I mean, you should see my husband's face when I do it and like walk around with dye on. He's like, you look like you're the girl from Dodgeball, and I'm like, I don't have a unibrow. Like, shut up. Can you tell? I'm a little bit like, he's gone for the day and I'm just like, alone time. We've actually been doing great together, way more than I thought. But still, my alone time is my alone time, and I'm just like, this is the first day he's been gone, like, almost this entire time. So I'm enjoying my day. If you can't tell, I'm in a good mood. I'm like, I'll put some makeup on, I'll film today. Like, like I can be as loud as I want to. I redecorate a little bit. I'm like, Ross, home store. I saw a TikTok that the home store was opening, and I like looked at in Arizona, and it still says closed, and I was so sad. I was like, I really want to go. But anyways, in terms of misses for this month though, I did have a few. I don't have them to show because before this whole thing happened, I did get like samples of the Ilia. It wasn't that I hated it, but it did break me out. Like, I did have a severe reaction. I have no idea what ingredient in there because everything looked really good. But I didn't even want to take the chance. Like, I broke out along my forehead, and I never break out along my forehead. So I know it wasn't just like a bad day type thing or a bad week, but it was just like something is in here and it's not right. But it wasn't my favorite thing. So even if I didn't break out, I don't think I would have purchased it because it did feel like makeup was sitting on my skin. I didn't feel like it was like a skincare product, which is what it's kind of more marketed to be. Also, you know, I talk about that all the time where I just don't think that, obviously it doesn't hurt to have skincare products in your makeup, but they're only going to be beneficial if you use it pretty consistently, and I knew that wasn't something that I was going to use all the time, so I wouldn't have gotten the money's worth. But I'm happy I tried it. Please let me know what your guys' favorite tinted products are, because I have definitely been enjoying more natural makeup these days. So yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it in terms of misses. I did make sure to write under my Beauty Blender review after I did it. The more I kept testing it out, the more it just all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't like this. Like, it wasn't bad. It looked great for the first like 4 hours, and then it just went downhill. So that's also one that I would not recommend, but there's those. That is actually it. So let me know if you guys have tried these out. What are your thoughts? What have you kept using? What have you kind of forgotten about? I would love to know. But yeah, if you have any questions, definitely ask away, and I will continue to do these because I do think that they help. You know, after first impressions, something may not be bad and it may be impressive, but does that mean I'm going to get a lot of use out of it? You know, so that's why I kind of like to update you guys. But yeah, that is it for me. So please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.